Okay, I'll try not to look as casual as humanly possible. Do you know what I mean? I'll try and be professional. Thanks for joining me on Between No Ferns. How has it been in Abu Dhabi, right? You've arrived, you've done your quarantine, you told me off camera that it wasn't so bad, but now you're here, what's it like to actually be on Fight Island and all the experience?
Yeah, I've got no real complaints. Like, they're taking real good care of us once I'm here. Like, got over the jet lag pretty quick, been training. I think just everything's set up because and it's all running so smooth, probably because of all the other times that they've been here. So everything's just runs like clockwork.
Is, you know, as a fighter, essentially at the end of the day, you're getting into a cage to have a punch up. But does the experience of stuff like this, to go to Abu Dhabi, to go to in a bubble, to fight in pandemic times, I know you fought Dustin and stuff, does that add a bit of spice to it? Or does that even play a factor at all?
Like, it comes and goes. Like, it comes and goes. It was like when I got this fight and I was like, man, because New Zealand's back to normal. Like, we're all just living normal life over there. I was a bit like, man, I got to go over to, and because I'm stuck in Abu Dhabi for a month after the fight, and then I've got like a 2-week quarantine.
You're stuck here for a month after?
Yeah. So I got, just New Zealand has like, you have to book in for your quarantine, and there's only like a certain amount of bookings that they allow. Izzy got stuck for, I think it was 7 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks. Israel, Carlos and Brad got stuck in, they got stuck in the States, so they stayed in San Diego. So I'm in a similar situation. The earliest I could book in was February 21st. So I'm over here in Abu Dhabi for another 4 weeks after the fight. But yeah, I know. it's a big commitment to jump in and take this fight. But, you know, I was a bit not hesitant. Like, I was always going to take the fight, but I was maybe a bit like a bit more negative outlook. But then my missus, she was like, man, you should be...
The chance to be away from you for an extra 4 weeks, she was like, get going.
Yeah, she's just like, who gets to travel at a time like this? Like, you've been to America and Vegas and done that. Now you're getting to go to the Middle East. Like, I've never spent, like, I've passed through here in transit, but never spent like a good amount of time in the Middle East. So you know, she's like, who gets to spend a month in a different country and travel and experience new things at a time like this and under circumstances like this? So that kind of changed my outlook on it, and I've been like far more like a positive outlook about it.
Did you make the pitch to the UFC that you should probably get paid more because you're staying here for so much longer?
Oh, that's a hard push. It's a hard push. You know, there's when you compare it to every other sport, which is just not even running at the moment, like even back home, like people trying to even play off, you know, the other fighters that can't even get out of the country because it can't be justified with the amount of money they're making to pay like the quarantine fees or something like that. So I'm just grateful to be over here and being able to make a living at a time.
When Dana White said, I've got an announcement to make and I'm going to let you know how it affects the main event next week and the co-main event next week, did any part of you think, I think I might be in a tournament with Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler?
I thought they were going to make it for the belt. I thought that's honestly how I thought it was going to go. I thought he was going to come out the announcement, Khabib's still retired, Dustin Conor's for the belt now. And that itself would have brought a whole lot more excitement. This is kind of just... I think it's just as murky as before the fight. They're just relaying it.
It's kind of like it was meant to be a yes or no meeting, and he got a maybe. It's like Dana White's always like, "Oh, we'll see how it plays out." Khabib did that to him, like, "Oh, we'll see how it plays out."
Yeah. Well, it adds like it's cool in a way that adds like another storyline to the event. You know, Conor McGregor coming back, fighting Dustin Poirier, like that's a massive fight as it is. You know, me welcoming Michael Chandler from Bellator, like that's another huge storyline. So it kind of just adds to the storyline, like him saying do something impressive and I might come out of retirement. Like it's just another storyline, but I feel like there's already so much at stake and so much on the line as is.
Do you think Michael Chandler is being sort of overhyped, underhyped, or correctly hyped on his way in?
I think it was pretty much on the money. Initially, when I first heard he was, when I first heard he was coming to the UFC, I honestly hadn't even watched the Michael Chandler fight. I'd seen highlights of him versus Eddie Alvarez, but I'd never actually watched them fights. So I was taking taking a couple of stabs at him, just like as I do, like it's a bit of an Anzac thing. We just like to have a bit of banter. So I was just taking a few stabs at him. But once the fight got offered to me, I went and looked him up and researched him, and the hype is definitely warranted.
Do you think he's for people who haven't watched him, some people haven't seen his fights, do you think he's almost like a bigger version of Chad Mendes, like a wrestler who can punch, or is he a brawler, or what, how would you describe his style?
That's a pretty fair.
I'm good, aren't I?
That's a pretty fair like breakdown. Strong puncher. I think like the thing that separates from that is his like aggression. His aggression, like he comes out. Usually fighters at this stage of their career, or he's been multiple time champion. Like they settle down after a good amount of time, but he's at the stage of his career, and he still starts like a kid in a candy shop. Like he still starts so fast. So I think that is what separates him from a lot of other fighters.
Does that kind of help you in a way, knowing that he starts at that, because you know that you have to start as fast, right? You know he's going to come at you at 100 miles an hour, so you already are prepared. It's not like you have to have that feeling out process. It's like, well, I know we're going into fifth gear right away. Does that help you at all?
Well, that's the funny thing about it. That's for a long, rangy guy. That's the hard part for me is chasing someone smaller around. Like that is actually the hard part, because they can duck under and get to you. But I don't think he has a reverse gear. I think he's gonna come forward. He'll come to me. So I feel like he's doing the hard work for me.
Obviously, you're at the press conference with Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. It's more attention on your fight and stuff. Have you felt the spotlight? Have you felt like, oh, I think I might be part of something pretty big here?
Oh, I feel like I got a seat at the table. I feel like I got one of the best seats in the house. I'm getting to sit up there and get to kind of share in all the antics, and I feel like I'm just excited as everyone else, to see how it plays out.
For some reason in my head, man, I feel like Michael's had a few pops at Conor. Dustin and Conor are fighting. I feel like you and Conor might have the more similar sense of humor, so it might end up being like non-Americans versus Americans on the press conference.
we're partnering up, or we're teaming up. Yeah, I think most of the stuff he says is just like just jibes, like, oh, I'm kind of the same. Like you'll just say something like a bit of banter, but people take it maybe
like calling Oliveira a pussy.
That's yeah, that was a bit of a little bit of a stab, a little bit of honesty coming out, but yeah, you just have to be yourself. Like if that's your sense of humor, that's your sense of humor.
I feel like the UFC, Dana White, particularly really pushing Oliveira right now. His name's mentioned. Dana deliberately mentioned him with Khabib. You call him a pussy. Do you think Oliveira's overhyped at the moment, or do you think they're just jumping on the next newest name that they can throw in that title picture?
It's like his win streak that he's on. Like the win streak that he's on is like that is undeniable. He beat Tony Ferguson. Like his claim to the title is definitely warranted, and I definitely warrant his skills. But I don't know. It's just, you just don't like some people. How just some people's face like irritates you. I think it's like one of those situations. I'm saying, like, you go back and watch his fights, like he'll try and attack like relentlessly, tear your arm off. If that doesn't go to plan, he kind of just checks out. Like you see it, especially if you go back and watch like the Paul Felder fight. And I don't know, that's just something that rubs me the wrong way. I feel like if you're gonna try and rip my arm off, at least let me punch you in the head a couple times. You know what I mean? Don't try to rip my leg off, try to rip my arm out, try to choke me to sleep, and then if that doesn't go to plan, you're just gonna, oh, okay, I'll leave now. It's like that. At least if I try and hit someone or try and beat someone up, I at least gut it out and take the ass. But that's just personal. It's just personal preference.
Who do you think wins, Conor or Dustin?
Oh man, it's up in the air. I like the skill sets of both of those guys. Dustin's definitely not the same guy. Like he's like surprisingly big. he's surprisingly big. Like, because I've seen him before, and you know, you're squaring off face to face. Like, he doesn't look like that heavy of a guy or that thick of a guy, but he's thick. Like, he's super thick, and it's when we get to the venue, we get like thrown on the scales and weighed, and usually they don't tell you. Usually, I'm always like, oh, what did he weigh? And they hide their little card, and they're like, nah, I can't give that away. I can't tell you. But so I did it this time. I get to the venue, I step on the scales, I weigh in at the venue, and then I said, oh, what did Dustin weigh in at? And he's like, oh, and he just like shows me the card, and I was like, holy shit! I was like, man, he's heavy. It was like 83 kilos.
I think you just got someone sacked, by the way.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I don't want to get anyone fired.
But thanks for admitting it on camera. That's good.
He didn't turn it. I looked over his shoulder. How about that? Well, I changed it myself.
Yeah, they always say you can put the pace back in the tube, so well done. Yeah.
I'm shoving it back in.
Obviously, you're the backup for the fight. Is any of you still hoping something happens to the main event that you can jump in there, or you just kind of have to check out of that and not even worry about it?
Oh, you're not hoping. You're not hoping. Like, I wish I was just out in the field. We kicked a rugby ball in the tree, and I got stuck in the tree, and we're throwing rocks at it, trying to get it down. And anyway, Dustin comes along and he tries to help us. He helped us get the rugby ball out of the tree, and then we were chucking the rugby ball around for a bit. So he's fit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, and he's.
You didn't feel like just doing a massive tackle to him at the back. Oh, sorry, I thought we were playing.
We're throwing the rocks at. Nah. He's all good. He's a nice guy. I obviously don't wish anything, and I don't think it's going to happen at this stage. There's not a great chance that you're going to get injured on the island, you know. Get injured in your room watching TV is pretty unlikely.
Good talking to you, man. Thanks very much.